What if one of history's greatest empires began not with conquest, but with a rebellion no one expected to succeed? In the rugged lands of ancient Iran, scattered tribes struggled under the rule of the mighty Median Empire. Among them were the Persians, small, underestimated, and overshadowed by their neighbors. Yet within this humble people rose a leader whose vision would reshape the ancient world. Cyrus, a prince with the audacity to challenge an empire far stronger than his own. But how could a young ruler from a minor tribe hope to overthrow a power that had dominated the region for generations? Cyrus answered that question with strategy, diplomacy, and a revolutionary idea. An empire built not on fear, but on respect. In 550 BCE, he led a daring revolt against the Medes and won. Instead of destroying his enemies, he united them, forging the foundation of what would become the Achaemenid Empire. Cyrus expanded rapidly, conquering Lydia, Babylon, and lands stretching from Egypt to India. Yet he didn't rule like other conquerors. He allowed conquered peoples to keep their customs, religions, and leaders. This earned him loyalty instead of rebellion. For a moment, it seemed Persia had discovered the secret to eternal empire. But even the greatest rulers cannot escape fate. Cyrus died in battle, leaving behind a vast realm and a dangerous question: who could possibly hold it together? The answer came in the form of Darius I, a man who seized the throne during a time of chaos and transformed Persia into the most sophisticated empire the world had ever seen. Darius reorganized the empire into provinces, built the royal road to connect distant lands, and introduced a unified currency that boosted trade across continents. Under his rule, Persia became a marvel of administration, engineering, and cultural diversity. But Darius had ambitions that stretched beyond stability. He wanted to conquer Greece. His invasion, however, ended in a shocking defeat at the Battle of Marathon. Persia had met a rival that refused to bend. And if one defeat could shake the empire, what would happen when Greece struck back? Darius's son, Xerxes, sought revenge. He assembled one of the largest armies the ancient world had ever seen and marched into Greece with overwhelming force. The battles that followed, Thermopylae, Salamis, Plataea, became legends. Persia won some, lost others, but the campaign drained its resources and shattered its aura of invincibility. The empire remained vast, but cracks had begun to form. Internal revolts simmered, satraps grew more independent, and the once unstoppable Persian war machine slowed. Yet even weakened, Persia remained the largest empire on earth. So what kind of force could possibly bring it to its knees? That force arrived in the form of Alexander the Great, a young Macedonian king with a burning desire to conquer the world. In 334 BCE, he launched an invasion of Persia. The Persians, now led by Darius III, struggled to unite against him. Battle after battle, Granicus, Issus, Gaugamela, Alexander outmaneuvered the Persian armies. The once mighty empire collapsed with shocking speed. By 330 BCE, Persepolis burned, Darius III was dead, and the Achaemenid Empire was no more. Persia had fallen, but could a civilization so influential truly disappear? Persia refused to stay buried. Out of the ashes rose the Parthian Empire, masters of cavalry warfare who halted Roman expansion and revived Persian identity. They ruled for centuries before giving way to the Sassanid Empire, a powerful dynasty that restored Persian culture, architecture, and religion to new heights. Under the Sassanids, Persia became Rome's greatest rival, a superpower locked in centuries of conflict. Their cities flourished, their armies dominated, and their influence spread across Asia. But even the strongest empires face storms they cannot predict. A new force was rising in the Arabian Peninsula, one that would change the world forever. In the 7th century, the Sassanid Empire was weakened by decades of war with Byzantium. When Arab Muslim armies swept across the region, Persia was exhausted, divided, and vulnerable. Despite fierce resistance, the Sassanid Empire fell in 651 CE. It was the end of ancient Persia, but not the end of Persian identity. Instead of disappearing, Persian culture blended with a new Islamic world, influencing art, science, literature, and philosophy for centuries to come. Persia had fallen politically, but culturally, it was about to rise again in ways no one could have imagined.